Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve,
I'm Gerard.
and we've been talking about plate carriers today and plate carrier philosophy, and we're going to share our thoughts with you. So stay with us.
It'll be fun.
So, like we've talked before, Gerard is a combat veteran, U.S. Marine, and I am an untrained civilian goofball.
So, the reason we bring this up is because there are several different philosophies on the plate carrier and civilians. Some people advocate for it, some people say you don't need it. But on which side you fall on, you need to know how to use it. Because you got the assaulter versus the defender.
We all talk about what we're going to do when it all happens. Everyone wants to be John Q. Rambo. Um, Everyone wants to think they've got the coolest toys. Everyone wants to go out and buy the coolest toys. But do you know how to use it, and do you know what role you're going to play? When I first thought about getting one, I thought I was going to wear it 24/7. If I had to bug out 200 miles from where I was to my little space of heaven, I thought I'd be wearing it the whole way. I'm not sure that's the most brilliant idea.
No, it's regardless of how you feel about them and whether or not you're going to wear them for an hour, 5 hours, 24-hour shift, whatever it may be, you need to know the weight of it, the weight limitations of it, and your own physical limitations with it. And the only way you can find that out is if you train with it. Because if you don't train with it and you need it, it may act differently than what you're used to. And it may reduce reaction times. It will definitely reduce movement times. And you need to know how it's going to affect all those things.
I couldn't have said it better myself, just from personal experience, being the untrained civilian goofball. I would put mine on and then go and do martial arts drills. I would do the Joe staff. I would do other things with it on. And I'm going to tell you, starting out, those plates are heavy. And I think they're the old first or second generation plates. They are the thick pieces that
Yes.
weigh you down.
Right. How can I say this gently? The biggest problem with plate carriers is the plate carrier itself, because it limits your movement. It adds 30, 40, 50 pounds to your already oversized frame. And what you can do without it will be limited with what you can do with it. That is why basics, they teach you simple movements. They don't teach you how to go assault a door or assault a building with it on. They teach you simple movements with it to learn how to assault the building with it on. So the old phrase of I'm up, they see me, I'm down, is helping you not only avoid contact with the enemy, but getting used to the weight of movement. You get up, you move, you fall down, you lay down prone, and you're there for a few seconds covering your partner's movement. Then you're up, you got to learn how to get up with it on. You have to learn how to move it straight, diagonal, or sideways, and then get down again with it interacting with your gut, your hips, maybe right into your throat, weight on your shoulders. You got to learn how to move with all that stuff on. And so they don't make you do the assault course until you can do the basics. It's like what we're trying to say. We're doing the basics. If you want to learn how to do assaulter courses, go learn the assaulter courses. But master the basics first.
Okay, see, and he's just given a drill that no one ever taught me, no one ever told me, and I'm going to have to go home and practice that to see how I am on getting up and down. I've moved with it, but I don't think I've ever actually dropped down to the ground and then tried to go up. I've done push-ups, but this is something new. So let's talk about the different philosophies of wearing one and carrying one.
It really depends on your mission. If you're trying to be Joe Reconnaissance, find out information about the surrounding areas, you probably don't want to wear one because you want to be light and fast. But if you're defending your property, you don't know who's there, and you're in a either a static or limited movement basis, probably don't have to have one on in the off chance that somebody fires at you without you knowing. Because this is a much smaller target than this. This is what your body armor is protecting. So this is a bigger target. That's why you have body armor. It's protecting your vital organs. So if somebody cracks off the shot first, this is protected. Because this is a bigger target.
So you're playing the odds game of they'll go for the bigger target first.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if your number's up, your number's up. There's no amount of gear, no amount of training that's going to prevent that. But the odds will be in your favor if you're in a static position with body armor on, because you may not be able to move as quickly or as dynamically because you don't know where the threat is.
Right. And that's a surprise shot where you didn't even know he was there. You're protected a little bit. The odds are up.
Right.
Now I have a question. Keeping in mind, I think I paid a total of $165 for the entire kit between getting my plates and getting the rig itself. What do you think of this rig? What are its limitations?
Well, its limitations are these. The shoulders. It's going to be riding on your shoulders right here on the clavicle.
Okay.
So it's going to cause irritation. You may want to get some wider shoulder pads.
All right.
You're going to have a lot of weight in the front, not only from the plate itself, but from the ammunition.
Right.
Plus whatever else you have on right here.
I jerry-rigged a first aid kit on that side and a couple of magazine pouches on the other side.
So if you're like me and you have a little extra weight on the front, this is going to increase that probably by twofold.
Okay.
So however you feel with your back, this is going to exacerbate those feelings because the weight's going to be in front.
All right.
Now, like what you have ammunition in the back. The philosophy about this is not only is it a counterweight, but it also allows you to carry more ammunition, not for you, but for your partner.
Right.
That way, if he runs dry, or if he is up against the wall, or for whatever reason he cannot grab his front ammunition, he has backups right here. Now, this is going to act as a counterweight, but it's also going to cause more weight in the back. So if you have any kind of strain, pain, whatever, will eventually wear on you, which is why you need to learn it now during peacetime and learn to mitigate those problems as opposed to throwing it on whenever the balloon goes up and you figuring it out on the run, and you're not only uncomfortable but you are not able to perform.
Right. Now, I've played with this quite a bit, and I am, even with my back issues, comfortable with it. But you do worry me, and you do bring up concerns that I'm going to have to go back and train some more to double check and to make sure I'm in shape for this.
Do you know what the difference is between basic infantryman and tier 1 operator is?
You've told me this before, but I'm going to let you tell me again.
The fundamentals. The tier 1 operator have a mastery of the fundamentals. The basic infantryman is learning the fundamentals. There is no, it looks great in the movies, the John Wick, double shot, whatever, but in real life, you need the fundamentals. It's the second nature muscle movement, muscle memory of putting your buttstock in your shoulder, knowing where your bullet's going to go, how you're going to transition from your rifle to your pistol back to your rifle. It's the fundamentals that separate the good from the best.
All right. I know I've got a lot of fundamentals to work on. Martial arts, I'm decent. I won't say I'm a master. But this, moving with this, and the AR platform itself, is something that I'm not sure I'm ready to be rated on, for lack of a better term. I can use it, but the way you keep describing going through fundamentals, and I realize how much I don't know about the very simple fundamentals of the plate carrier, of the AR, of moving with the two platforms in conjunction. I'm going to admit it right now. I like the term untrained civilian goofball, because that's how I feel right now, and I need to up my game.
If you feel like you're doing it wrong and it feels uncomfortable for you, that's because you're learning. It's going to suck. Let me repeat that. It's going to suck. Putting your plate carrier on and running with it sucks. Even whenever I was doing it, whenever I was in the Marines, sucked. But I learned to do it. And it got better. It will get better. Just keep at it. Just because you're doing it wrong now does not mean you're going to do it wrong later.
Okay, so a lot of our viewers are between the ages of 45 and 65. I looked at the statistics.
Okay.
So, paring down from being an 18-year-old hotshot right out of boot, how far would you recommend someone in that age frame begin to run with one if they've got one sitting in the garage that they haven't actually put on in 6, 7, 8 months?
If you're running, you're wrong.
Okay.
Learn to walk with it first, because you're going to do a lot of walking with it.
All right.
You're going to do a lot of patrolling with it. You're going to do a lot of standing around with it. Get comfortable with it first before you move on.
Okay.
Get used to the weight. Figure out where it's comfortable for you, but figure out where the tight spots are. If you need to lose weight, then lose weight. Do whatever you need to do. You don't need a $40 a month gym membership. You need body weight exercises. push-ups, burpees. They suck, but they work.
Sean, don't be looking at me with that tone of voice about burpees.
Once you can walk with it, figure out where the problems with your gear is by doing a burpee with it. That will tell you more about what's wrong with your gear than any inspection will. It'll tell you where the rattling is, where you can hear it rattle, someone else can hear it rattle. If it feels loose, then it's loose. Rather have too much on it than not enough. You don't want to be stuffing your cargo pockets with stuff that falls off your gear.
Right.
So I would rather you duct tape it, for lack of a better word, to your gear, sew it on, do whatever you need to do. Do that to your gear and keep it on there and say, oh, it's good enough. There is no such thing as good enough.
Okay. I'm going to throw out a couple of things here. One, I was listening to a couple of former Rangers talk about, and I'm going back to what you were talking about earlier. They were talking about how if they had to walk from, say, their vehicle to home, they might consider dropping the plate carrier.
Yes. In that kind of situation, you're basically doing a long-range reconnaissance patrol.
Okay, that's where I was going. I was going to ask if that would count as recon.
You're moving to target. If that target's to home, that target's to home. If that movement to target is a water source that you have to then gather water from and go back, you want to make yourself as light as possible. You want to move as fast as possible. Yes, if you're comfortable with it on, keep it on. But it's better to be light and fast than slow and heavy.
Okay. Next question. I keep hearing about dump pouches and, when you're done with that magazine, throw it in your dump pouch. Don't dump it on the ground. Where would you mount a dump pouch? Would you mount it on here or on a drop leg holster, or where on your gear?
I would probably put it on my war belt.
All right.
It's going to be folded up into a pouch about this big. And you probably don't forget about it 90% of the time. The reason it's there is that whenever you're moving into contact, the moment you take your weapon off safety, you open that up. That way, as you're in practice it. Unload the magazine, bring it, do it as slow as possible. If you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Right. Practice unloading from the weapon to your dump pouch, coming back to your magazine, and inserting it into your weapon. Practice that until you get so sick and tired of it that you're doing it in your sleep. Practice it. Practice it heavy. Practice it light. You may have to do a quick tactical reload. Gun may jam. May have a bad round. There's 1,000 different reasons why you would have to reload. Practice it in all situations. That way, no situation is new.
I think we've covered about everything I had, and you've educated me even more than our conversation before. Is there anything else you want to throw?
It's personal preference. If you don't want to wear a plate carrier, don't wear a plate carrier. If you can only afford plate carriers for certain people, then have those people learn to be the point man or the breacher or whatever you want to call it to take the rounds to protect the rest of the people.
That reminds me of a book I read. Yeah.
No philosophy is right or wrong. Just like no religion is right or wrong.
I keep Torah. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. My Sabbath is Saturday. We've talked about this before. The interpretation of the Ten Commandments that I grew up with, and that they are not able to be changed, puts me doing no work, no buy, sell, or trade on Saturday.
I'm Roman Catholic. I do worship on Sunday. We get along great. Why? Because we respect each other's philosophies. So, whatever your philosophy is, go with it. Work with each other on it. If you want to change your philosophy, change your philosophy. It's as simple as that. But learn from it. Don't just say, oh, I don't need a plate carrier because it's going to weigh me down too much. Maybe. But don't you think you need to get used to the weight just in case you need to carry it?
I mean, let's be honest. If everything goes completely cattywampus down the left trail, you might find yourself completely untrained, unknowledgeable with a plate carrier, picking one up off the ground or at an abandoned police station or somewhere else along the road. And now you don't know what to do with it at all.
So it really depends on what you want to do. Don't let anyone tell you that you're wrong on your philosophy. There's certain situations for it. There's certain situations why you don't need it. Both are valid. Both are correct. If you're doing a long-range reconnaissance, you probably don't want to wear it because you want to move light and fast. If you're in a static position, security compound, you may want to wear it just in case somebody takes the shot.
Now, keep in mind that the inverse of what Gerard has said is also true. It's okay that if you don't want one. It's okay if you don't have one. And it's okay that your friend does. But educate yourself on both sides of the aisle so that you can be competent and knowledgeable.
Right. It is better to know it and not need it than need it and not know it.
I think he just said it all.
So, yes, that's where we stand. I want to know from you, what is your philosophy? And give me a topic you want me to talk about. Because there's only so much I can spill without going over the same stuff. If there's something you want to know, tell me. And I'll give you my limited experience. If I don't know it, I'll find it out.
A couple of you were peacetime Marines. Here's a wealth of knowledge. Pop into the comments and actually ask questions. I know a lot of you have thought about going down this path. Talk to us.
We'll see you out there.
Take care.